Hey guys, it's Nurse J at Nursing the Truth. I hope everyone is having a great Monday. Well, Nurse J has been gone for a little while, and I took a little short vacation with the family to the beach in Florida. And yes, I am burnt as a crisp. And I guess my hair got a little lighter, I guess. But anyway, glad to be back. Missed the waves in Florida. Hope to return soon. So, what are we going to talk about today? You know, I've been watching this Netflix series called The Borgias. If you have Netflix, my friends, I suggest that you watch The Borgias. It's 3 seasons and it's very, very good. Now, some of it is historical and some of it is twisted a tad bit. If you don't know about this family, I'm going to kind of give you a little backdrop. You see, the Borgias were a Spanish family, and the son was named Cesare. The daughter was Lucrezia. Another son was Juan, and another son was Jeffrey. The mother was a courtesan or a prostitute per se, and the dad was Rodrigo Borgia. He was a cardinal at the age of 25 and then became pope. Now, he did have some strings pulled per se. He paid his way to the papacy. And he was pope in the year of 1492. You see, right at the height of the Renaissance, coming out of the Dark Ages, per se. But he also had family prior to him that was a pope. Alfonso Borgia. And I hope I'm saying this pope's name right, but I think it's Calixtus or Calixtus the Third. You may look him up, friends. But he wasn't a nice pope as well. But anyway, as the story goes, he bought his way to the papacy. This pope in history was incestual with his daughter. He had lots of mistresses. He had lots of bastard children. He liked to drink a lot and carry on with parties and have orgies. And this all was in the eyes of the Vatican. Now, dear friends, if you are a Catholic, and you are still in the church, do you not know that the church, whether it be Protestant or Catholicism, gave us this Bible? And with Catholicism and Protestantism to this day, still have a hold on the mind. They like to control and they like to contain people. So long as you believe what they want to tell you, friends, that's all that matters. Praise God, give the church 10%, and they have their little debaucheries in the night. So there was this close person in the papacy, where you call it a scribe or what have you, or a chief counsel. His name was Burckhardt. And what the papacy didn't know is Burckhardt wrote down a lot of things that were very damning to this church. And I believe you can also buy his book called The Book of Notes, which I hope to contain in my library. And it talks about this one particular night called the Dance with Chestnuts. And the Pope Alexander the Sixth, Cesare Borgia and Lucrezia's father, were sitting at this table, these long tables, with cardinals, with drink and food, and they had prostitutes undressing themselves, flaunting themselves, and the Pope sat back and was getting very aroused at the scenery. And at the end of the debauchery, orgies were going on, chestnuts were flying everywhere, games were being played. The Pope was enjoying himself. And he was in like his early 60s. And he partied so hard that it took 4 days to recover. Now, Burkhart says that he was falling asleep at Mass and he really acted like he didn't care about it. Well, go figure, friends. Still the same today. Still pulling up your dresses, men, because you were married to the church. So I guess you're a lady. But anyway, that's another story. So this Pope was very evil. Not only, like I said, had orgies and men and women and mistresses and bastard children. He had a torture chamber underneath the Vatican that his son Cesare had all under there for their prisoners. Now, people think about this. What is a church doing with a torture chamber underneath it? Now, if they are, going off God, shouldn't they be helping people and not hurting them? Shouldn't they be living righteously? And shouldn't they be helping the poor instead of stealing from the poor? Lucrezia was known for her poisoning people. Poisoning to get out of marriages or situations, and Cesare loved the women, and so did Juan, his brother. Now, Pope Alexander VI loved Juan, that was his favorite son, but Cesare, on the other hand, was more of a commander of the papal armies. Now, and you have to ask yourself, what is a church doing with an army? What is a church doing with generals? Is it because that this universal church wants to conquer lands for themselves and take from themselves? Yes. And even in the series, it shows that this Pope commissions Columbus. And that they bring in some of these indigenous people to the Pope. And they call these people, basically ignorant and uncivilized. But the thing about it is that these indigenous people already knew who they were, knew who creation was, and knew what the prime creator or the source of the all was. They didn't need to be taught anything. If anything, they needed to teach the dumbass church. Now, if you're stepping on my channel, I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes, but really, I don't care. Because the facts are the facts, Jack. And that's what you're going to get on this channel. Truth and facts. Now, Cesare was a very good-looking man. Oh, and the ladies liked him too. And Lucrezia was a very beautiful, beautiful, blonde-headed lady. Now, Juan wasn't too bad, or, Jeffrey wasn't too bad. Now, and Giovanni wasn't too bad. But there's a lot of killing in this family. So you had killing, thievery, debauchery, orgies, alcoholics. The same old Godfather. And even the movie The Godfather was made after this family. So, let's talk about this. You need to read this book. It's free online. It's called In the Pillory by James Bond. Not 007. Should have been. This was an American that had access to archives in the Vatican and had access to pictures, and he spent his life in different countries. He had access to things. Well, my friends, this wasn't the only person to write about this family. Plenty more. With the access of the Book of Notes by Burkhardt and all the dirty scandals, James Bond, in his book, In the Pillory, that was published in 1926, states unequivocally that Cesare liked looking at himself, and he was basically a narcissist. And that he said that he looked like the paintings of Jesus that were before him, of course, or whoever this character was. Because you see, this thing goes long gone down to Constantine of 325. And basically, in the book, he says that he is the image of the pictures of today of this Jesus. So, Catholics, hold on to your rosary beads and count them 99 times. Because when you go and you bow down to that abominable statue, you are giving your alms and praises to Cesare Borgia, that was none other than a murderer, a drunkard, a sodomite, clever little beast he was. And to think that even the painters, the Renaissance painters of the day, paints Julia Farnese, Alexander the Sixth, Pope of Rome's mistress, as Jupiter, Venus. And on the walls, it shows that the Madonna and child, Mary and Jesus, was actually Julia Farnese and her child, Laura. Now, in some of the churches in Rome, There were statues carved out to the liking of Cesare Borgia with thorns on his head. And it also says in this book that he posed with thorns on his head. Now, what is the catch, Nurse J? What is the catch? Why are you talking about this now? Well, friends, why are people bringing this out? You see, because before now, I've never heard of the Borgias. I never heard of these books. Because, friends, this is coming down. This menagerie and matrix. This patriarchal system is coming down, friends. And it's just a matter of time. We're waiting for time to pass. You see, the Borgias on Netflix now, the 2011 series, doesn't do much justice. You have to go get or rent the series called Borgia of the 2014, or I think it's the 11th, series, 2014. And friends, did you know? Oh, you didn't, because Nurse Jake has to tell you. Now, for some of my black brothers and sisters on this channel, you know this information. But this is for the Europeans, friends. Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci was Cesare Borgia's lovers. And did you know that Leonardo da Vinci was in Cesare's military? He was a commander. He also was trying to make things for Cesare's army. And there was jealousy between Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. And you see, all the Turtle brothers, no pun intended, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo da Vinci of the Renaissance knew these dirty little secrets, friends. You see, they had a dirty little secret to hide. You see, Michelangelo was a great sculptor, and Leonardo was the artist painter, and they had a competition to see who could do the best. And in this series called Borgia, not the Borgias, Cesare was modeling with the crown of thorns on his head. And Leonardo da Vinci was drawing him on a cross. And you see, friends, it even shows you the picture, the famous picture with Cesare's hat on, kind of looking to the side. It shows the same picture in the series, friends. So, the Wisdom of Solomon has a verse in there that states that a son was taken too soon. and a father grieved. And that, from that day on, people will worship him and do their sacrifices and their communions in reverence of him. Now, I do know that Juan was taken too soon. So now, is it Cesare or is it Juan? But does it really matter? Because it's still the Borgia family. This movie was taken straight from the book of notes of Burckhardt, the chronicler of the papacy. And it was taken from In the Pillory by James Bond. And there was another man that also wrote this information as well. And I'm trying to get his name for you. It was Alexander Dumas, Dumas. And it says that Alexander Dumas says his likeness was used as the model for the long blonde haired, blue-eyed, effeminate-looking Christ, which Christians the world over have been bowing down to and worshiping for centuries. So, what are you going to do with this information, friends? Are you still going to hang the pictures up of Christ Jesus? Oh, wait a minute. You mean Cesare Borgia? From the Italian Renaissance? You see, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci were two Florentine Italian Renaissance artists. The height of glory and the height of this Pope and the Son for the Holy Church and the Mother Church of everyone that will trample and steal and kill for the glory of God. When that's exactly the opposite of what we are supposed to be doing. Also, he's behind the Spanish Inquisition, friends. Killing and murdering from shore to shore of the indigenous people of the world. So, what are you going to do with this information? Are you going to get rid of your Cesare Borgia? Or are you going to start looking within yourself and knowing that you are the Christ? You are the light of the world. It is you, my friends, who control your own destiny. It is you that control your own morality. It is only you that can save yourself. Until next time, Hotep, Ashe, and let the world know who you are. Goodbye, friends. See you next time.